All right, what is up, traders? What's up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. Going to give you guys an update on Casper going through a top-down analysis, right? So what you want to do is start off on your larger time frames. That's why it's top-down. We'll look at a weekly, a daily, then an intraday. And what you're going to look for on these charts, okay, are going to be patterns that you look for, indicators that you look for, and any divergences that you look for. So we're going to start off here on our weekly time frame. Then we'll go down to a daily time frame. And then we'll go down here to a 30-minute chart and just break down what it is that I'm seeing and, hopefully teach you guys a little bit of, some of the things that you can look for and help to give yourself an edge in the market when it comes to trading, again, using this top-down analysis. Now, of course, the content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop on over to our charts here. Okay, and this is a weekly time frame. If you missed my last update, this is basically what I showed for the Casper chart. Okay, what we're looking at essentially is we have this channel. Okay, starting from the previous lows, right? We can see that old support here becomes new resistance, and really, on a larger time frame, we are moving upwards. Okay, continuing to create higher lows within this channel, and we're testing the bottom of the channel. Now, we said that we would most likely come down and test this in the last video and we'd be looking for a bounce up, right? And these are going to be some of the major levels that we're looking for a bounce to the upside at. Is going to be right through here. And so at any point in the video, if you want to pause it, take a screenshot of some of the levels and, different things that we go over on this chart. This is just an estimate, right? This arrow, I drew this here. This is not, exactly what price is going to be due or going to do, but this is, something we're going to be looking at, right? So this is a weekly time frame and we're looking for a bounce due to the weekly channel that we're trading in, right? So now what can we do? Well, we'll actually scale down to a daily time frame real quick, okay, and go over to a daily drawing set that I have. And, we talked about using some of our indicators, some of our patterns, the different things with that top-down analysis. So, we had a chart pattern, a bullish channel. And we can see right now, another thing that we are using is going to be supply and demand zones, right? And so these are like support and resistance, except, it's going to be less precise, right? It's just an overall zone where liquidity is. And we can see that in the past, this area was established as, a supply zone, all right, and a demand zone. All right, if we zoom out here to the left, we can see price rallied upwards, consolidated here. Okay, so whenever you see price consolidating, this means that there is balance in the market. Buyers and sellers are agreeing on the price. And then, if it shoots to the upside, it's going to be now a demand zone because now there's an imbalance of demand, aka buy orders pushing price higher. And we can see we come back and it becomes an area of consolidation many times again. Now, one thing about these zones, and especially with cryptocurrency, is there's lots of liquidity grabs. Okay, so for instance, to go over a liquidity grab, we know our overall supply and demand zone is right here, and this is where price spends a majority of the time consolidating. But you see these little moments, right, where price dips down below in these wicks. All right, these are liquidity grabs, right? And so, people are getting stopped out at these levels, and then the push actually happens to the upside. And so, it's not uncommon for you to, go down and go above your supply and demand zones, which is kind of what we're seeing right now, right? If we take a look, we are breaking through our demand zone, all right? And, price, this red dotted line is over here at areas where we've seen price drop down to before getting the move up. So, from the weekly chart, we're looking for a bounce. On a daily time frame, we're looking to see, hey, is this potentially a liquidity grab for the next move to the upside? But we know that if we end up flipping this demand zone to resistance, aka overhead supply, most likely we're going to gravitate towards the next demand zone to the downside. Now, we talked a little bit about divergences, right? If we were to take a look, we do have a bullish divergence here forming, okay? And so I'll break down what that is, but essentially take a look at this low right here, and then now we have a higher low right here, right? So we have a low, and then we have a higher low right over here. At the same exact points on the chart, we have a low, and now we have a lower low, right? So we have a low and a lower low. So this is what's known as a bullish divergence. You can see the RSI is squeezing as well from this overhead resistance area here, the more times you test the level or a trend line, the weaker it's going to get. And so if we do get a bounce, it's very possible we break out to the upside of this, resistance here on our RSI. What about our MACD, right? If we were to, create a little bit more space here on our MACD chart, we can see we also have some bullish divergence here forming on the MACD, right? With low, higher low, low, lower low. This is just an indicator that you may see potential bullish activity. Now, if we pay more attention, we see we actually got a bearish crossover right here with this white line crossed below the red line on the daily time frame. And since then, the price has been going down. This is a bearish sell signal, okay? So for this really to go bullish and for us to break out on our RSI, we need to see this white line cross back above the red line, okay? That's our, daily analysis now. And if we were to come over here and take a look at like a 30-minute chart, okay, so an intraday chart, and look for any setups we have on our intraday chart, we're seeing some similar setups, right? Some similar setups, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, we are getting a little bit of bullish divergence, right? If we zoom in here and get it nice and zoomed in, we, increase our MACD a little bit right here so it's clear. We zoom in on this, right? Again, we got that sell signal a little while ago, slight bullish divergence here on the MACD, right? You can see low, lower low, low, higher low. RSI, we're seeing, the same thing here as well, right? We have a slight bullish divergence. We have a low, then we have higher lows, right? So we're creating higher lows while price is making lower lows. And these two trend lines are, actually one of my favorite new trading patterns that I've really been using in the year 2023. It's what's known as an inverse bump and run. So here is your prevailing downtrend. And then you see we have this aggressive bump down in the price, right? Price has really been going bearish here. And that's the short-term trend. And this is your bump down essentially, right? And so if you can actually break out through this trend line, then there's a high probability you come up and test the second trend line. And when you break through the second trend line, the way the pattern works is you're supposed to go up towards the origination of where the pattern began, which would put Casper, somewhere in this area right over here. Okay, so this would put it at 0.0346 up to about 0.0348. And again, this is an intraday chart pattern where you're getting a nice little bullish push right here on this 30-minute chart. So keep a close eye, see if this can break out. And then if this can break out past the second trend line, look for it potentially to come up to our area of liquidity over here, right, that we established. And remember, this is all a top-down analysis, right? So, now we're on the smaller time frames. We're seeing some bullish divergence. We're seeing a potential bullish pattern. It hasn't been confirmed until we get the breakout. Okay. And then, when we zoom back out, okay, and go back to, our daily time frames, right, and take a look at the daily setup, we know that we are testing a demand zone, right, and we're pushing through slightly below that demand zone, and we're looking to see, is this a potential liquidity grab, right? And then on the weekly time frame, when we look at our weekly chart, we saw that we're looking for a bounce at the bottom of the bullish channel, right? So, all of this just goes to say that, again, you want to start off with the, your top-down analysis. And remember, that's exactly what we did, right? We started here, weekly time frame, looking for a potential setup because we have this bullish channel that we've established with clear highs, right? Clear highs and clear lows that we've been respecting. We're going to see if we can continue to respect that. This isn't a guarantee, right? We could break through this and fall down below. Very, very possible, but we're looking for potential setups, right? We know that we've established it as a clear area of support. Will it hold as support again? We zoom down to our smaller time frames, do that top-down analysis. We looked at the daily, and then we looked at an intraday. And now we have more of a stronger thesis, to potentially look for a bullish move in Casper in the short term, right? And we're going to see, can that 30-minute chart play out, right? All right, well, if that 30-minute bullish pattern plays out, how does the daily chart start to look now? And then, from there, you'll go back to your weekly chart and you'll be able to see, was this an area that turned into support or did we end up breaking through here? So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you do that. All right, and I do want to mention also, if you're really into trading and just overall investing and investment intelligence, I do have a completely free newsletter. There's also a website associated with it, so all of the newsletters that have been sent out kind of look like this, like blog posts. It's called Investment Intelligence. There's a link in the description as well as the comment section down below. If you're a fan of free, valuable content, I think you'll definitely enjoy it. And if you want to support the channel, it's a good way to support the channel too as well.